This is 5 Minute Friday on the most popular episodes of 2022. As I mentioned in my year-end recap episode on December 29th, in 2022, this show enjoyed growth of 90%. That means the show's audience nearly doubled relative to 2021, netting over 3.3 million podcast downloads and YouTube views in 2022. So, first off, thank you so much for listening to the show and for telling your friends and colleagues about the show. Essentially, all of our growth is organic, so we're highly dependent on your personal recommendations. Anyway, given our near doubling in 2022, I didn't think the show could be growing much faster, and thus I've been delightfully surprised that so far in 2023, growth has accelerated, with January being by far our biggest month ever and February not far behind. With all of you new Super Data Science listeners out there then, I put together today's episode to fill you in on the most listened to episodes of 2022, giving you a data-backed set of outstanding episodes that you might want to go back to and check out if you're hankering for more content. For veteran listeners, this episode could be informative too. It'll ensure that you didn't miss any of the most popular episodes from last year that sound interesting to you. One thing you might be wondering is why I'm airing a best of 2022 episode in March. Well, there are two factors. First, internally at the Super Data Science podcast, we use the 30-day mark after an episode's release as our quantitative key performance indicator as to how an episode's been received by you. Second, I typically record episodes several weeks ahead of their release to give our production team plenty of time to clean them up real nice for you and to leave a few episodes in the pipeline in case, say, I get sick. All right, explanations out of the way. Let's dig into, quantitatively speaking, the 10 top performing episodes of 2022. The 10th most popular episode featured Anne Emery providing a slick overview of how to influence others with your data. This was a tremendously practical episode packed with tips on effective data visualization, data presentation, and data storytelling. Evidently, a lot of folks were hankering for this practical info, so thanks, Anne. The 9th most popular episode starred the sage Sadie St. Lawrence, who in the first episode of 2022 predicted, remarkably accurately it turns out, the data science trends for the year ahead. Special mention to Sadie for cracking the top 10 2 years in a row. She's our only guest who has done that. In 8th place is an episode with Kian Katanfarouche, a renowned Stanford lecturer and CEO of Workera, a fast-growing platform for data scientists, software engineers, and other technical practitioners to upskill systematically while staying in their job. In 7th place is an episode featuring Dr. Noam Brown. His episode on AI for crushing humans at poker is close to my heart because it was the first one ever recorded with a live audience. I was nervous about it for months, and so it's a huge relief to me that the inaugural live recording was well received by Super Data Science listeners. If you're looking for more info on game-playing AI, the very next episode of this show, number 663, which will be released on Tuesday, features Dr. Brown's colleague, Alexander Holden Miller, detailing Meta's astounding new AI that uses natural language to negotiate and build trust with humans in order to excel at an extremely complex board game. It's an extraordinary achievement, in my view, a much bigger deal than ChatGPT, and so I highly recommend checking that forthcoming episode out. Oops. I'm supposed to be focusing on the past. Okay, back to the countdown. The 6th most listened to episode in 2022 was with the renowned and exceptionally wise technologist Eric Bernhardson, covering tools for deploying data models efficiently into production. In 5th was YouTube superstar Tina Huang, who opened up about her typical workday at one of the world's largest tech companies, her strategies for efficient learning, and how best to prepare for a career in data science from scratch. In 4th was another YouTube sensation, Shashank Kalanithi, who detailed how to get started in a data analytics career and where you can grow from that first data analyst role. Spotting a clear trend here, our bronze medal goes to yet another YouTuber, this time the brilliant mind behind the mega popular Python Simplified channel. That's Ms. Maria Shah. In her wide-ranging and deeply philosophical appearance, amongst many topics, Maria covered how you can make learning any new machine learning concept much simpler. In 2nd place, our silver medalist was New York University professor Jennifer Hill, a personal icon of mine whose statistical modeling textbook I fell in love with when I was starting my PhD 16 years ago. Professor Hill's episode dug into how to design experiments in order to confidently infer causality from the results, as well as her favorite Bayesian methods for analyzing causal direction. 2021's most popular episode also featured Bayesian stats, so it seems like I should be looking for more Bayesian experts in 2023. Finally, are you ready for it? In first place this year, the most popular SuperDataScience episode of 2022 featured the author and educator Matt Harrison's episode on effectively programming in the ubiquitous Pandas library for data processing. Matt's highly practical episode, number 557, has already ratcheted up over 60,000 listens, with no doubt tens of thousands more still to come. What's even more impressive about Matt's standout episode, as well as others in the top 10 from the first few months of last year, such as Sadie, Tina, and Noam's episode, is that my simple popularity assessing methodology for this episode contains a critical flaw. Because the Super Data Science podcast became significantly more popular each quarter of last year, guests whose episode aired near the end of the year had an advantage over those whose episodes aired earlier. As I mentioned in my top 10 episodes of 2021 episode a year ago, it would have been more sophisticated to say fit locally estimated scatterplot smoothing to the data and then rank the episodes that have the largest residual above the regression curve. I considered that again this year, but then it adds a bit of voodoo and controversy to my results. For example, did I choose the correct regression method? What if I picked a different one? And so, for yet another year, I'm considering my easy-to-understand approach of taking listens at the 30-day mark to be sufficient. Speaking of the show becoming more popular over time, to give you a sense of how much the show has taken off in recent months, the first 5 episodes of 2023 all would have cracked into 2022's top 10. Q1 of 2023 could be the first time we hit 1 million listens in a single quarter. Not only are we now the most listened to show in the data science industry, we're also in the top 15 technology podcasts and are tantalizingly close to breaking into the top 1,000 podcasts worldwide across any category. I think this is pretty impressive given the narrow niche data science is. So, as I said at the beginning of this episode, thank you so much for listening and spreading the word about our show. All right, that's it for 5 Minute Friday today. Until next time, keep on rocking it out there, folks, and I'm looking forward to enjoying another round of the Super Data Science podcast with you very soon.